is in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
Today, the third summit meeting G77 plus China has resumed in the Ugandan capital, Kampala, with the participation of Prime Minister Nadir Al-Abawi as representative of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. The first flight from Caracas to Algiers has arrived at the Algiers International Airport as part of the inauguration of the direct route between Algeria and Venezuela. As the EU foreign ministers are meeting today in Brussels to discuss global approach designed to lead to a sustainable peace in the region, the Israeli warplanes has pursued their pounding of several parts of the Gaza Strip, causing more deaths. Those were the major developments. Now the full news edition. Good afternoon, I'm Mariam Bershi, and today I'm accompanied by my colleague Essia Bakar. Hi Essia.
Hi Mariam.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, today received Saudi Interior Minister Emir Abdulaziz bin Nayef bin Abdulaziz Al Saudi. President Abdelmajid Tebboune has received the Speaker of the National People's Assembly of the Republic of Korea, Kim Jin-pyo. Following his meeting with the President of the Republic, the Speaker of the Korean National Assembly said Algeria is South Korea's strategic partner in Africa. He stressed that the exchange with President Tebboune views on issues of common concern, including the reinforcement of bilateral relations at the international level. He recalled that diplomatic relations between Algeria and South Korea go back to 1990, stressing that the two countries have been boosting their friendly relations in different fields and widening their cooperation to include international files, especially that Algeria is currently a non-permanent member at the UN Security Council. Regarding trade cooperation, Mr. Kim Jin-pyo said that Algeria was South Korea's third largest trading partner in Africa. He then hailed the achievements made in terms of the building of the new Algeria. The South Korean official also met separately with the Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Saleh Goujil, and the Speaker of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali.
The two Algerian officials said the visit of South Korean official will give a new impetus to bilateral cooperation, notably in economy. They also discussed international issues and expressed Algeria's attachment to finding peaceful solutions to conflicts without interfering in the state's internal affairs. Regarding the Palestinian issue, the Algerian officials called on the world's countries to put an end to the current Israeli aggression against the Palestinian territories, to put a halt to their humanitarian suffering. They then recalled Algeria's position vis-à-vis the Western Sahara issue, stressing that Algeria supports the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination in line with the UN relevant resolutions.
Today, the third summit meeting G77 plus China has resumed in the Ugandan capital, Kampala, with the participation of Prime Minister Nadir Al-Abawi as representative of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. The third summit, which extends over 2 days under the motto "Leaving no one behind," tends to give a new impetus to partnership among the countries of the South in the current international context marked by an increasingly competitive world. The summit also tends to exchange relations among the countries of the South, notably in the sectors of trade, investment, sustainable development, climate change, the eradication of poverty, and the development of digital economy.
And the first flight from Caracas to Algiers has arrived at the Algiers International Airport as part of the inauguration of the direct route between Algeria and Venezuela. The inauguration was held under the patronage of the Transport Minister Mohamed Labib Zahana and the Minister of Agriculture Youssef Sharfa, who said the direct route between Algiers and Caracas comes in implementation of the Algerian president's commitment to open new routes with African and Latin American countries.
Aujourd'hui, nous exécutons
Today, we implement one of the commitments of the President of the Republic to open the capital Algiers to a lot of destinations, notably whether they are African or Latin American. Today, we inaugurate the Algiers-Caracas airline after inaugurating a major number of airlines toward the African capitals. At the same time, it is the occasion to meet my Venezuelan to discuss the exchange program and to implement the protocol signed in June in Caracas on the development of agriculture and veterinary health. So it is an opportunity for businessmen to meet as a forum is due to take place tomorrow, and will offer at the same time an opportunity for different ministers of the Algerian and Venezuelan government to discuss.
du gouvernement algérien ainsi que du gouvernement vénézuélien.
And the first flight between the two friendly countries carried humanitarian aid to the Sahrawi people. Venezuela's ambassador to Algiers, Juan Arias, said the aid reflects Venezuela's support for just causes.
Je veux dire para tout ce que m'écoute que Venezuela
The Venezuelans are very human people, very engaged with the liberation causes of all the peoples. That is why in this first flight between Venezuela and Algeria used this flight to send humanitarian aid to the people of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. This flight carried an important group of entrepreneurs as we would like to develop business, tourism and economic, scientific and technological relation between the two peoples. This is the first image of what we will build with Algeria for the prosperity of the two people. Long life to Algeria, long life to Venezuela.
Viva Argelia, viva Venezuela.
And Western Sahara's ambassador to Algiers, Abdelkader Talib Omar, hailed the support of both Algeria and Venezuela to the Sahrawi people and their cause.
والله هو الشكر كله للجزائر اللي
We express our gratefulness to Algeria, which is delivering this support, and through the Algerian Red Crescent. We are honored by the accompaniment of the President of the Algerian Red Crescent and the supervision of the delivery of this aid, which is considered a symbolic and political donation given that is being delivered at the inauguration of a new route between Caracas and Algiers. The Venezuelan President insists on sending a symbolic gift on this flight to be delivered to the Sahrawi people to reiterate that Sahrawi cause and the fight of the Sahrawi people is present in the mind of the Venezuelan President and leadership. And by this gesture, he is expressing his support to the fight of the Sahrawi people.
وتأييده لكفاح الشعب الصحراوي.
For her part, the president of the Algerian Red Crescent, Ibtissam Hamlaoui, said the aid of Venezuela to Western Sahara reflects their support to their cause as well.
Today, we are so happy to receive the humanitarian aid destined to the Sahrawi people in the refugee camps in Tindouf. This aid reflects the concern of the Venezuelan people through their president, who insisted on delivering considerable humanitarian aid to the Sahrawi people in the first flight between Caracas and Algiers.
L'Algérie des aides considérables au peuple sahraoui.
And the Venezuelan Minister of Agriculture, Wilmar Alfredo Castro Sotendo, described the inauguration of a direct route between Caracas and Algiers as a historic event. He said the direct route between the two countries will not only consolidate bilateral relations, but also allow Arab, African and Asian communities staying in Central America, the Caribbean islands and South America to use Algeria as a stopover to transit to different countries in the Arab region, the Middle East, the Far East, Africa and Europe.
As the EU foreign ministers are meeting today in Brussels to discuss a global approach designed to lead to sustainable peace in the region, the Israeli warplanes have pursued their pounding of several parts of the Gaza Strip, causing more deaths. Palestinian sources affirm that at least 190 people were killed in intense bombardments that mainly targeted the region of Khan Yunis in the southern part of Gaza. The Israeli bombardment hit 2 hospitals as well as 5 centers sheltering refugees in the region. The onslaught launched by the Israeli army against Gaza has so far claimed over 25,000 lives and displaced thousands of Palestinians. The UN estimates 1.7 million, the number of people displaced by the conflict representing about 80% of the population of Gaza. In this respect, the Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki is attending a meeting today in Brussels of the representative of the 27 EU members devoted to the repercussions of the Israeli attacks on the Palestinian population. Addressing newsmen before the meeting, the EU diplomacy chief, Joseph Borrell, blamed the Israeli government, as he puts it, sowing the seeds of hatred for the coming generations, while stressing that Israel cannot build peace only by war. He assured that it was time to set the condition for a lasting peace in the region through the implementation of the two-state solution. In this connection, the EU diplomacy chief advocated the holding soon of a preparatory peace conference bringing together the EU, the US, and several Arab countries. In a similar move, several countries, including the United Kingdom, have reiterated their support to the two-state option as the only means of securing a fair and lasting peace in the Middle East. This came as the Palestinian Prime Minister stated that the international consensus of the setting of a Palestinian state must be translated into practical steps, and that the world must start considering sanctions on Israel for its continued violence and occupation and for its rejection of peace.
And the International Organization for Migration, OIM, has launched for the first time a call for the financing of $7.9 billion to face the increasing challenges of the displacement of population. To justify the demand of funds for 2024 is a difficult financial context for all humanitarian organizations. The head of the OIM, Amy Pope, stressed that irregular and forced migrations reach unprecedented levels and challenges which are increasingly complex. She affirmed that it is undeniable that when it is well managed, migration highly contributes to prosperity and global progress. She added that it is often seen as a threat for several countries, and it is often the subject of political debates before important elections in Europe and the United States, for example. Pope emphasized that it was a critical moment, and the call was made in order to keep the promise made.
Cameroon has launched a large-scale vaccination campaign against malaria. The World Health Organization hailed the campaign as a historic step in the fight against the disease, which is one of the deadliest. According to WHO, malaria is a disease transmitted by humans by the bites of certain type of mosquitoes. It kills more than 600,000 people each year, 95% in Africa. On the continent, children under 5 make 80% of the deaths.
And in the U.S., the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has announced his withdrawal from the campaign of the Republican presidential nomination and that he will support Donald Trump in the November presidential election. Ron DeSantis came second in Iowa on Monday with 21% of the votes behind Donald Trump, who won 51% of the votes.
And now in China, tens of people said to be under the rubble following a landslide that hit China's southwestern mountainous region. According to public media, more than 200 people have been evacuated as rescue operations continue to try and find survivors. And now, I invite you to listen to our economic program compiled and presented by Said Bourazi, to be followed by another cultural program.
Hi and welcome to our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. First in the news, promoting the governance of public financial control was at the heart of the government's meeting held on Wednesday under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi. This effort comes as part of the implementation of the provisions of the law on the rules of public accounting and financial management aimed at establishing a new approach to control expenditure by introducing greater transparency in management for better monitoring of public finance. At a meeting chaired by Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi, the government has inquired about the final stages of the Wad al-Harrach development and decontamination project, which is scheduled for completion next March, according to a press release from the Prime Minister's office. The Wad al-Harrach development project, 67 kilometers in length, including 18.2 kilometers of which are in the capital city, includes operations focusing on dredging and protection of embankments, construction of retaining walls and landscaping, as well as the decontamination of the Wad al-Harrach basin, which crosses 4 provinces in the center of the country. The Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arkab, has received in Algiers a delegation from SLB, formerly Schlumberger, led by the group's president for the Middle East and North Africa MENA region, Tarek Rizq, with whom he discussed investment and cooperation opportunities in Algeria, notably in the hydrocarbon sector. During the meeting held in the presence of the central executives, the two parties reviewed the links of cooperation and partnership between Sonatrach and SLB in the field of hydrocarbons and the prospects for strengthening them. National consumption of petroleum products reached 18.1 million tons in 2023 compared with 17.3 million tons consumed in 2022, an increase of 3.5% driven by the country's economic dynamic, said the chairman of the Hydrocarbons Regulatory Authority, Rashid Nadil. In a statement to APS, Rashid Nadil said that this growth in consumption is expected to continue in the coming years, assuring that the national production capacities are capable of satisfying this demand, especially as Algeria has been self-sufficient in petroleum products over the last 4 years, notably through the rehabilitation of refineries and the increase in the production capacity. In more Algerian economic news, the Minister of Finance, Laziz Fayed, has said that the budget reform launched a year ago under the Organic Law 1518 on finance laws represents a radical change in the management of the state's finance and budget, in the sense that it is based on efficiency and transparency in the management of financial data. Speaking to the forum of the daily Al Mujahid, the minister explained that this reform is intended to be a process underpinned by results, clarity, and the assessment of performance and output of each employee in the finance sector, while improving management and establishing transparency. The IPO of Popular Credit of Algeria CPA, which will begin on 30th January with the sale of shares, is a milestone in the history of the Algerian financial market, said the chairman of the Commission for the Organization and Supervision of Stock Exchange Operations COSOB, Youssef Bouznada. This introduction reflects the interest that the public authorities, and in particular the President of the Republic, have in the financial market, he said, adding that this is the first stage in the reform of the financial market. Algerian Union Bank, the first Algerian bank to open abroad based in the Mauritanian capital, is preparing to open 2 new branches in the first quarter, including one in Nouadhibou, the country's economic capital, according to its managing director Marwan Alian. He said that the Algerian Union Bank was effectively launched at the end of 2023 with the first branch in Nouakchott, and 2024 will be nothing more than the continuation of our momentum, the opening of other branches, including one in Nouadhibou, which will open next February. And to wind up our program, Sonatrach's Central Research and Development Department has filed around 20 patents since 2019, according to the group CEO Rashid Hashishi. These patents mainly concern devices and semi-pilots that address upstream industrial issues in the oil transport chain, gas and water treatment, and the deployment of solutions to protect the environment, according to the presentation of the activities of the group's Central Research and Development Division. And with this we come to the end of our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. Goodbye.
Welcome to your weekly program Destination Algeria. I'm Jamal Samani. There are a number of great destinations in Algeria just waiting to be discovered. A curious mixture of cultures and influences. Algeria has something interesting to see in just about every city. The country is also the first largest on the African continent, so you can be sure that there are plenty of towns and cities to visit. Let's visit Algeria's fascinating destinations, you and I, together. Today, in the first part, we introduce you to Algerian artist Mohamed Tamam, who was born on the 23rd of February 1915. Mohammed Tamam is remembered for his artistic skill and talent, particularly in the style of miniature, painting, and illumination. Visitors to the National Museum of Fine Arts, Musée des Beaux-Arts in Algiers, will have the opportunity of viewing several superb examples of this talented Algerian artist's work, which includes themes from his childhood, still life portrayals of traditional Algerian items, spectacular landscapes, and insightful portraits. His illumination works, decoration of texts and manuscripts, embraced folk art and Arab Muslim art with his own unique flair. Born in the Kasbah of Algiers, Mohammed Tamam discovered his artistic talent at an early age when he attended an exhibition of works by Algerian artists, including Omar Rassim. Between 1928 and 1936, he attended the School of Traditional Arts, where he received tuition in various artistic mediums, including sculpture and woodwork, and received a number of prizes. He also tried his hand at ceramics in the studio of Mahyiddin Sharad. In 1934, Tamam exhibited 6 of his artworks at the 34th exhibition of the Society of Algerian Artists, 3 miniatures and 3 paintings. From 1934 through to 1938, he participated in numerous exhibitions, including the 13th Exhibition of Artistic Union of North Africa and a solo exhibition in Algiers. He also received a scholarship at the École Nationale Supérieure des Arts Décoratifs in Paris. In 1941, he received a silver medal at the 14th Exhibition of Artistic Union of North Africa, and in 1944 exhibited 12 of his artworks in an exhibition organized by Omar Rassim and the Franco-Muslim Circle of Algiers. In 1946, in a tour organized by Mohammed Rassim, Tamam exhibited his works in Stockholm and Oslo. In 1960, together with a group of North African artists, he exhibited his works at the Club des 80 in Paris. In addition to teaching the artistic styles of miniature and illumination at the National School of Fine Arts of Algiers, Mohammed Tamam was appointed a curator of the National Museum of Antiquities during the War of National Liberation, and remained in that position until his death on July 15, 1988. Artworks depicting his unique artistic style remains as a testament to his talent. Hello and welcome back to our weekly program, Destination Algeria. Looking for something interesting to do while you're visiting Algeria? You might find that a trip to Wadi El Bayoud will amaze and excite you. This great topographical attraction boggles the mind and gives you an immense appreciation for the wonders of nature. Wadi al-Bayoud in Algeria might easily be called the Gorges in English. These incredible natural wonders were beautifully carved out of the soft Ouras mountains by seasonal rivers over the course of millions of years. Each portion of the Gorges is unique and inspiring, and it is worth exploring in aspects of them to get the full impression of this great natural attraction. Visitors to Wadi al-Bayoud will usually approach via the National 3 or National 31, depending on whether they are arriving from the north or south of the country. Many visitors will simply pass by without even realizing that such a great natural wonder lies close by. If you are planning to pass through the area between Batna and Biskra, make sure you take your time and try to avoid public transport, which will overshoot the area, resulting in you missing out on this great attraction in Algeria. Most visitors start their exploration of Wadi al-Bayoud in the village of Roufi, which is the easiest place from which to reach the gorge of Tiranimim. Roufi is located about 90 kilometers from Batna and has a reputation for busy vendors trading goat hair carpets. However, far from impressive is the Roufi balcony, from where you can gain your first glimpse at the impressive Wadi al-Bayoud gorges you will be exploring from high above. After venturing through the village and setting out for the gorges, you will find the walk on foot very pleasant, as a palm-sided river bed accompanies you on your trek. Steep hillsides and the little river keep you cool even in summer. Little villages dot the route and can be explored as you make your way along. If you travel in a southerly direction, you should reach the Banyan Oasis by lunchtime and the beautiful Mshunash Oasis by the end of the day. You can choose how long you want to spend walking Wadi al-Bayoud in Algeria, but if you walk the whole way, it will take you 3 to 4 days. Visitors should keep in mind that the area is fairly rural and there isn't much in the way of accommodation, although you should find nice enough facilities at some of the bigger pit stops along the way. For that reason, you should take your own camping equipment, food and bedding, although you shouldn't have to carry too much, as supplies can usually be purchased along the way.
مع إذاعة الجزائر الدولية لن تفوتكم لحظة واحدة من الأخبار السياسية والاقتصادية الهامة. إذاعة الجزائر الدولية، صوتنا في العالم.
وقت المجزرة هذه الأمة العربية الإسلامية